Hello everyone, welcome back. Lauren here for our Lynn for Shine vlog, and this is part 2 of my sketchbook review. But here's some drawings I did that's not actually of Lynn, Aurora, or I. We just kind of worked on them together to where I started out with this little harpy guy. He's got a ribbon, and then there's a twisty tree he's on. And so then we just lined it a little differently there. So that's kind of cool. I liked that guy. We were playing with a new ink pen we got. It's like a literal watercolor pen, and so we had some leftover watercolor paper that we didn't use. And being addicted to Splatoon as we are, we all took turns taking and drawing Splatoon characters with just the pen. This is kind of a challenge Lynn did for me because I don't really like to draw with permanent things right away. I like to have the ability to erase, and so this is kind of like practice that she had me do, just working out different faces and stuff just with our watercolor pen. Here's a picture we did of what Aurora could look like, or what will maybe look like. I don't know. We like the side ears. We were working out proportions and how she would lay. We found a reference picture, so we just drew from that. This is a doodle I did in class, to where it's supposed to be me kind of brainstorming, and then really long hair and clouds, chain link fence. I don't know, I just kept doodling on it. I kind of went a little overboard, but it was fun. I was using just pen, so there's me more practicing with more pen. Here's a drawing of Lynn. I wanted to really get to know her clothing and her style, and so this isn't really a style I use very much, but I found the reference picture, so I drew like it. And so there's clothing like that. Here is those chibi drawings toward the beginning in part 1. Here is the main picture I drew here without a reference. I just kind of drew her in a pose that I liked. And the other side is just doodles from the sketchbook. Little tattoo ideas, but I'll never probably get, but I really like this one. Here is a drawing of Ritsu and Raito from a style from an art trade I got from a friend online. Other side is another drawing by that same artist, one of my friends online, and they drew their character Dakota in a hat, and I really liked the way they drew the hat, so I kind of tried to learn how to draw that hat from their style. That one picture I had for printmaking, I tried to draw on and do more for, even though I couldn't use it in printmaking, couldn't use it for class, I continued, and I wanted to do a more abstract thing of Lynn, and here's that, and I really want to do this digitally to see what more I can do with that. Here's little fairy people. I really love the style of the long limbs, long exaggerated limbs, so I just drew these little fairy kids in that style. This is a folded up piece of paper. Whenever I very first started to draw Lynn, I drew her nudes, which now it's so light you can't even see my drawing underneath it, but this is a drawing a friend did for me, and she did line art on top of it to show what the proportions would be if I were to draw it correctly. But my drawing, you can kind of see where the eyes were where I had it, and then that's where the eyes should be to where she put it. So that kind of helps. And I just had that folded up, and that's actually a stain from essence oil. I can still kind of smell it. Essence oil that spilled on it. It's like some kind of dragon fruit kind of smell. It's nice. Here's a drawing I did of Ritsu and Raito. I kind of scratched out their proportions and stuff, which extremely exaggerated. I was still along the lines of trying to do long proportions, trying to make them look taller. This is supposed to be Raito. He's writing. He's kind of just daydreaming. He has feminine qualities, and so that's why I like to show. Here's another one of Raito where he fell asleep writing. This is trying to do different proportions for my, or not proportions, but perspectives. There you go, that's the right word. I'm an art student, I can do this. Different perspectives of Lynn, and so I was like looking down on her, but the reference picture I had, her limbs are extremely exaggerated, and so she looks a lot taller than she actually is, so I always shorten Lynn's proportions whenever I actually draw her so that she looks shorter, but I think that's closer to what actual proportions are, even though they're exaggeratedly long. Here's close to a first picture I've ever done of Lynn, to where I kind of have her little ninja outfit. The M bangs. Anytime she always has those M bangs, you know I've drawn her earlier, and her ears are up. Now her ears are like down to the side. So any of these that you see with her ears up and M bangs, you know that that's old. This is an actual picture of I put just for a little bit my doll Lalatheon, my ball jointed doll Lath, into the chat for a little bit, and I wanted to draw him. And so I kind of have him without a shirt so you can see the ball joints and stuff there, and there's the ball joints on his knees, and he has just shorts on, and he's holding, I think it started out with a teddy bear, and then it ended up being like a bouquet of flowers, and now it's just a big mess of doodles, so I don't even know what he's holding, but I was working on that. These are just some sketches I was working on in the same notebook that Lynn and I had. There's a picture of, really exaggerated, let's not look at that one, but I like this one, really sketchy style that Lynn doodled in there. I tried to copy it on this side and I'm just like, oh, nope. But that's Lynn's drawing that she did of Ritsu. And then there's some eyes that Lynn did. She was just bored and she found some pictures, and so she was copying the eyes out of that. Oops. Here's some newer ones I was working on. That's supposed to be me. There's me and Lynn. This is before Aurora was born, so it's a lot of these are just Lynn and I whenever I draw us together. Working out different emotions for Lynn's face, and then Raito. And there's Raito again with his hair down. I wanted that picture to be kind of like in the rain where he's like yelling up, because I think Lynn flew away or something. And there's a Ritsu. He's kind of working out emotions. So yeah, emotion page. This is a redraw of a picture a friend did of whenever Ritsu was very, very first in the chat. I knew I wanted him to be homosexual, and so there's these two other guys that are actually together. This is Kaze and this is Shiro. And no, excuse me, Kaze and Shiro. Shiro's on this side. And they're like teasing him and like torturing him, and so I did it in my style with the exaggerated limbs I kept trying to keep, which I don't draw like that anymore. And then on the other side, these are all torn out of a sketchbook, so that's why some of these are double-sided. And on the other side I was working on Lynn's outfit again. So that's her like normal hunting, whenever I say hunting style or hunting outfit, that's what that outfit is, where it's like got a little skirt and she's got leggings, little corset kind of thing, and she always has, oh, I actually didn't draw it on this one. Usually you can kind of see something on her tail. She always has like strings on her tail. And then she always has her tattoo covered, so her arms are bare, and then her tattoos are covered, and then she's got like little armlets because she's an archer. I don't know what those are called. I want to say gauntlets, but they're not. Here's a silly style I found. They look like little bean characters, and so there's my trio, the original trio with Lynn, Ritsu, and Raito as little bean people. Let's look on the other side. Oh, there's a drawing I did for a friend a while ago. That's her character Camille. It's actually one of her dolls that she turned into a character. And then there's Shiro and Kaze kissing before they actually broke up. Ha. That's what happens whenever you have roleplay people. Not very fun, not very fun. Okay, let's see. Here's some doodles. I think these are of Ritsu and Lath. I think these are the ones I drew. I don't even remember, because my style changes so much depending on what reference picture I'm looking at, that, yeah, this is supposed to be Ritsu, and that's supposed to be Lalatheon. I have another story between those two to where Lath is a big giant doll and Ritsu's his master. Here's a drawing Lynn and I have had in our sketchbooks and in our folders forever. It started out with a friend drawing a hand with tentacle fingers, and then we drew the brain. We kind of added details in the brain, and we did the whole thick lines around what our friend did. So Jamie, there's homage to you. We have kept your drawing and we've worked on it a little bit. Here's one of the very first pictures I did of Ritsu and Raito whenever they were younger, and this is whenever I very first started learning or wanted to do the whole story where Ritsu, the shorter haired one, he has wings. And that's another aspect in my story to where their father was doing experimentations on them whenever they were little, because he learned that they are derived from angels. Their ancestors were angels, and so he's trying to bring that chain and that gene back. And so he experimented on his kids, and things happened, and then they got taken away, and Lynn pretty much adopted them as her brothers. So, yep, there's him with wings. The boyfriend I had in high school, who had the original character Shine, we would do these different panel by panel comics where he kind of doodled his character Shine is always in a cloak, and so that's Shine right there. And then Lynn, I had to where her ears, and then her pointy hair, and then the M hair kind of goes around, and so that's Lynn right there. We're just different interactions of what they would do. Here is another little one. If you want me to go into detail with these, I have a lot more of these little comics. They're funny. It's just kind of interactions that we talk about, and then we just turn them into comics. And so that's like Kirby. He eats this big giant butter tub that keeps growing next to them as they watch Kirby fight Pac-Man. Which, how funny is that this is like back in 2009, where Kirby's fighting Pac-Man, and now in Super Smash Bros. They have Pac-Man as a character. So, I don't know. Kind of funny. I told the future in a little comic. Here's a little chibi version of Lynn and Shine I had whenever we were together. Here's a picture of Lathion in pieces on a table. His ears are not that exaggerated, but I kind of like the idea of ball-jointed dolls and how they need our interaction and our touch to be alive. And so he's kind of just lethargically sitting on the table waiting to be put back together again. So it's just doll pieces. And let's continue on to the next pile. This is the pile I had separate because I had it in a different folder because I was actually going to work on these a little bit more. So these are the ones I promised our fiance I was going to work on. This, if you can see, I might ink this a little later. Oh, yep, you can kind of see it. This is the tattoo band that is on Lynn's upper left arm. And so it actually, this is the part that people see out mostly to where it's on the bicep, and then it goes outwards, and then these lines connect around her arm. And it's in a blood red color. And so that's the tattoo that she has, and then both of the twins have. So they all are connected through a blood tattoo. This is, I thought that was going to be Gwendolyn, which is Jen's servant, and then a random cat person. But I really like that look, so I think I might keep that as Gwen, because I really like it. Here's some drawings of Aurora that Lynn actually did. We were trying to help Aurora feel more at home with all of us, and so we were trying to finish out her looks. And so there's Lynn working more with just pen, and there's where she actually inked a pencil drawing she did. Here's a picture I did whenever Aurora was first born, to where we were having Christmas. That's our fiance right there. There's me in the middle. There's Lynn right here sitting on her fiance's lap and holding my hand, and then there's me and Aurora, and there's mistletoe hanging on Lynn's tail. I didn't really hash out this composition very well, and so I really want to redo this one because it looks, I like it, and Chris actually stumbled upon it, and he really wants to see this one like fully drawn, inked, colored, and all that, because we don't really have a picture with all of us, granted, because I have all alters instead of just a true relationship. This is a drawing I did for Chris of Lynn trying to hash out where her tail would enter and exit her body and whatnot. And so it's kind of like off the tailbone. Here's another picture I did, and I actually have a different one. This is just a different line art because I was working at where I wanted her proportions to be, because I apparently have this weird thing to where if I'm only doing busts, I do extremely big shoulders. And one of my friends mentioned that to me, and I actually finished this picture and colored it, and it's my icon for our DeviantArt. So it's actually like I inked it to where it's like I fixed her shoulder and I did all that. But this is the original drawing, and I really like it just looking at it as is. But now if I look at it again, now that I know proportions a little bit better, I know that that shoulder needs cut down a little bit. Oh, here's my character Elsie, which is basically me in Pokemon breeder form, and that's her Ditto Control C, and I'm working on a comic. There's Gwendolyn again, and there's C and Elsie together, and so I'm working out a different Pokemon comic with that. So that was on the other side of that page. This is a re-inking on our mixed media vellum paper of this picture, to where I want to put like a picture on top of our art for the Astelian Studio page, and it's all about Lynn pretty much, so that's why I have Lynn's face for that. But I don't really like how this turned out, and I should have cropped it off just like this because I didn't really like the mouth being there, and she looks a lot better lethargic in this one than in this one, so I just was practicing line arting with the light board here. And then there's another picture of Lynn trying to hash out what her body looks like whenever she's doing stuffs. practice. Here's a new line art. Actually, no, this is the old version. I need to make a new one. Of Aurora is obsessed with Lynn's tail, and Lynn always freaks out whenever she grabs it, and so there's me kind of watching over those two interacting, because sometimes it can go quite awry with how different they are. And the artist that drew Reito and Ritsu for me, that I recopied the drawing, I did an art trade, and this is the drawing I did them, which is their character Shiro, and their favorite Pokemon is Meowth, and so I put Shiro in a Meowth hoodie. And he's saying at the top, "Look at these ears, I am so frickin' boss." But I did bows. So frickin' boss. So that's the finishing of the art trade of that one. And I put it in this pile because it was in the folder of things I need to work on, because I need to actually finish this drawing for them. Because they have been wanting it for a while, and I guess they kind of forgot that I've been working on it, because it's been a long time. There is part 2 of the folder, sketchbook / folder review. I hope you like it. I know it went a little long, but I like to talk about a little too much of what I do. So, nice green folder, all done. There's that. If you like these, comment please. Subscribe for more. You know the whole drill of YouTube videos and whatnot, so I'll just leave you at that. And I'm going to go dig out some other drawings and other sketchbooks to show you. So, bye! Thanks for watching.